It irked me because they played it for comedy, that Vanessa is trying to recruit a man into sex work, and Vanessa's basically trying to be his pimp. And it's weird because if male characters were doing this on the show, it 100% would not be played for comedy. What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates fans? We are starting another new week of Beyond the Gates as we officially end season 1 over these next few episodes. Now, I genuinely wish that I had a better episode to talk about today, but if I am being 100%, today's episode annoyed me more than anything else, to be honest. But before we get there, let's talk about the Anita cancer storyline. I feel like this storyline is going to have to be the story that carries the show in January because it is one of the only storylines with good writing right now. Now, I would much prefer the Haley and Bill storyline heat up so that the Haley, Lynette, and Bill storyline could maybe drive the show because that's not as heavy as a storyline, but I think it's going to be this Anita storyline that carries the show in January. So we'll talk about that first. Today, Vernon once again by Anita's side, and the show does a wonderful job of bringing us in on the Vernon and Anita marriage, where Vernon just cares so much about this woman. She is clearly his life, and now that we have finally finished the stupid what is Vernon's secret, is he really cheating on Anita's storyline, we can move back onto the fact that Anita is a great husband to Anita and is going to be by her side during one of the most difficult things in her life that she is about to go through. He talked about today how they have defied every single odd in their lives to have the life that they have now. They met with the doctor, and since Anita has an aggressive cancer, she needs to start chemotherapy ASAP. So that seems to be where they are starting with the cancer storyline for Anita. But the scenes today that mattered were Vernon and Anita, and when, after meeting with the doctor, Anita was trying to swallow her grief and her worry, and I liked when Vernon told her that she needs to give her pain and grief to him, and she leaned and laid on his shoulder. Vernon can't imagine his life without her, which once again shows us that Anita is his life, and he really does love that woman. I like the line when he said that her voice is his favorite song. And so we had the heavy scenes today with Anita and Vernon, and I still think they are doing good with the writing, and of course the acting. Tamara Tooney and Clifton Davis are so showing us these two characters and how much they love each other and how they are going to tackle this major life issue together. So far, so good there. At the end of the episode, we'll get to Nicole and Dani, but we see that Nicole and Dani are very happy right now. Nicole is enjoying her freedom from Ted to date around, and Dani is, of course, finally happy with someone that's not Bill in Andre, but they don't realize the bad news that is around the corner with Anita's cancer, and Vernon told Anita today it's time to tell the children. And as we saw with the preview, like I talked about yesterday on the channel, Dani and Nicole will be finding out about this, and we will see how those two characters deal with that. Leslie met with Joey today. Her proposal to Joey was her wanting a business partner to open the free clinic. I'm disappointed that it was this boring free clinic storyline that has Leslie and Joey meeting up. Leslie is trying to get Joey to want to be legitimate. Joey says he already has a ton of money. He doesn't need to be legitimate. He doesn't need external validation like she does, which Leslie definitely does need external validation. She is trying to take full credit for this clinic idea, even though it was Samantha's in the first place, and even though Eva went to her for help. Joey basically rejected Leslie's offer here to be partners. Although when he later met up with Vanessa tried to talk him into it because Vanessa thinks it will be good for Joey's image. Vanessa always caring about their images. Joey never seems to care about his image. I was hoping for better with these Joey and Leslie scenes. Honestly, I am quite disappointed with the outcome. I don't know what them being business partners with this free clinic really does for either character. And I still think Leslie needs a better motivation as a villain, although the show has tried to make her a tweener, as they call it in pro wrestling, when someone is in between being a heel or a baby face. They're a tweener, and they go back and forth between the two. That I think that's what they're trying to make Leslie here, but they've failed to do that. I feel like I'm in the minority, and Leslie does still entertain me, but the writing for her has to get better. I will say this, though. As much grief as a lot of the fan base gives Leslie as a villain, Joey needs more grief as a villain. The writing for Joey is so one note, and yet they have him involved in many different storylines right now. I think that Joey needs a vulnerability as a character, because I'm not so sure what his motivation is as a villain either. Is it just to make money? That seems to be what it is. I guess he's just greedy there, but like, what is Joey's vulnerability? The best soap opera villains in the past also had vulnerabilities. I don't know what Joey's is. They do not layer him as a character. He's very one note, and for all the grief that Leslie gets, at least Leslie can still be entertaining. I can't say the same for Joey, especially when he's stuck in scenes with Vanessa. Now, one of the things that really annoyed me today were the Dani and Vanessa scenes. When they tried to recruit the bartender, with Dani wanting to make him a model and Vanessa basically wanting to get him into sex work. And it irked me because they played it for comedy, that Vanessa is trying to recruit a man into sex work, and Vanessa's basically trying to be his pimp. And yeah, we could call it an escort, whatever. It's still sex work. And it's weird because if male characters were doing this on the show, it 100% would not be played for comedy at all. But because it's Vanessa recruiting a man, they play it up for comedy. And this especially pisses me off because this show does have a history of writing men as weak and stupid, while it is all about girl power for the characters, because I guess that's what Michelle Valjean wants out of the show as a woman, I suppose. But this kind of writing is a joke. They play it up as a joke. All it did was make Dani look bad. The show has to stop with this stupid plot-driven writing. They are going overboard with it. We just talked about this on the Christmas episode, where Nicole is totally out of character, ready to ruin the Christmas party because of Ted's info to her that came from Leslie. She's ready to confront Vernon about cheating on Anita in front of the whole family. I thought that was very much out of character for Nicole, and it made Nicole look very bad in that Christmas episode. I thought this made Dani look very bad, who is usually one of the only characters on this show that gets consistent good writing. Well, not today, because we needed some stupid little plot-driven storyline where she's having fun with Vanessa, who she's totally against her dating Joey, and totally against her being in like the head of this escort service because it's so frowned upon in the community. But she goes along with Vanessa's games today to recruit a guy into sex work, with Vanessa trying to pimp a guy out. It made Dani look bad. Speaking of looking bad, when will this show do better with its couplings? Eva is spending time with Izaiah today. Apparently, they've been in and out of bed. Eva thinks their relationship is going to slow down at some point. He wants her to be his girlfriend. She was thinking they were in this no strings attached thing. It's giving Dani and Andre repeat. Does this show know any other way to start a relationship off entertaining? Apparently not. I am starting to question if it's been a very long time since Michelle Valjean, the head writer, has been in a relationship. I don't know about her co-head writer, the Thompson girl. I don't know if she's been in a relationship anytime soon. I don't think Michelle Valjean is married right now. So I question if that is why they are failing to make good TV couples on this soap opera. But I don't know what else it is. It's either that, or since Michelle Valjean is so old, no offense, she is in her 70s, she maybe thinks that this is the way all young people start relationships, is as no strings attached fuck buddies. And while that does happen a lot in modern society, it's not good television for one, but it's also not the only way to start romances on a damn soap opera. They need to figure out better ways to build up these couples, because trying to make Eva and Izaiah just be Andre and Dani part 2 isn't going to work. I understand why Eva is trying to avoid the possibility of a relationship, because I guess she thinks if she sleeps with a man, he's just going to go back to his ex, I guess similar to what Tomas did, although Tomas and Kat were not broken up. Tomas was being a cheater, which the show also tries to sweep under the rug to not pretend like Kat made a terrible decision with that. I can't say this is a good start for Eva and Izaiah. They just have sex again today, and it's not exactly a riveting soap opera couple that this show needs. There is not a couple on this show. Take Anita and Vernon out of it. They do a great job with them as the older couple on the show. There is not another couple on this show where Dani isn't in it that has chemistry. Dani and Bill have chemistry as exes, and Dani and Andre have chemistry as a couple right now. Any other couple on this show is struggling in that department. And frankly, outside of Andre and Dani, this show has not wrote a romance for any two characters on the show. Most of the couples started the show together. Jacob and Naomi started together. I mean, I guess you could say Chelsea and Madison, but let's not pretend like they get airtime, because they don't. So I still need that couple. And then we have Nicole talking to Carlton, and we're supposed to pretend that those two characters have chemistry when they don't. We still don't know a single thing about damn Carlton. We learned more about Kyle in 2 episodes than we have Carlton on the show for months now. We just know that he is Ted's friend, or at least he was. He's coming off as a person who is love bombing Nicole, in my opinion, because he is just someone who crushed on her for so long when he was supposed to be Ted's friend. It's not a great start for them as a relationship either. I don't know why we got those 2 episodes of Kyle if Nicole's trying to move on quickly with Carlton, even though she rejected Carlton for months. Strange writing. What else is new from this show lately? The one good thing about the Nicole and Carlton thing is that maybe a couple on this show will finally have a real obstacle if Kyle and Nicole are the two that the show is trying to get together, which I think they should be the two the show is trying to get together because they actually have chemistry. But I don't know how much airtime Kyle is going to get. They hyped him up, Greg Vaughn joining the show. He doesn't live in Atlanta, but neither does the actor that plays Joey. So can we get more airtime for Kyle? I would like to see that develop more than Nicole and Carlton. But if Carlton is going to be an obstacle for Kyle and Nicole, I am here for it. I just hope the writing does it justice. And my faith in the writing these days is dropping lower and lower. But the Anita and Vernon storyline today was good as expected. I do expect the writing to stay good for that story. The rest of the show, though, is it needs work going into the new year.